trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite. Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville.
Alice says on air. Hello and welcome to the Hang and Loose podcast, episode number 49 or 50. I haven't decided yet. My name is Shanked DG. With me, as always, is...
How could you always say some shit that confounds me, and then you introduce me like I'm supposed to just ignore what you said. Spiiciiboii. And we will start off with a shout out, as always, to our lovely sponsor, Rand Disc Golf. Just uploaded some new... Did I get it right there? I get it right on the first
look at
try.
us.
Who'd have thought? It's not like we had to retake this because our producer forgot to hit record, but it's fine. Anyway, Randy on randdiscgolf.com just put up a bunch of new misprints and X-outs. I think he said he added a whole section.
He did. There's a whole button that filters to just those if you're looking for some discounted Frisbees.
And he also put out a little bit. Did I close the app? No, I just scrolled down. He put out a release schedule on Twitter today, so check his post at Rand Disc Golf, talking about the new MVP releases, all that fun stuff. So make sure you check him out for that. Also, thank you, RV3, for re-recording, even though you messed up the first time. We still love you very much.
Best
you know
producer.
what? We messed up the first time we tried to send you a shirt. We just didn't even try. Am I a little quiet today?
Tried to send him a shirt.
Yeah. Oops.
No, Randy's always doing some cool stuff. I don't see any other retailers doing that. Like his little color swatches of Frisbees he puts up on social media. That's pretty neat.
Tripping twice in 6 months and posting the footage of it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how often the OTB boys trip walking around their office. I ain't seen one clip of it.
Never once.
Only the balance. Shut up, Rudy. If you're not going to show up here, you can't just laugh.
I was going to say, can they hear your laugh this week?
They can hear my laugh this week.
Yes, finally. It was
Hell
so
yeah.
weird last week.
Oh, but Supreme Flight Open. I mean, let's just kick right into it, yeah?
Shouts out to Ezra. I mean, you had some disc golf. We usually do story time or disc pick. I haven't had a new disc.
That's true. I also haven't had. I have one coming though from our boy at Afterlife Dies. It's been a while since we shouted him out. Check out Afterlife Dies on Instagram and or Justin 0308 or something.
No, it's JME_096. I believe.
I was close.
You weren't.
Kind of close.
Shouts out to him.
Afterlife Dies.
We did get from him the Clever Girl Discraft Raptor that I gave to Ricky Wysocki.
Yes.
You can find on Twitter as well. But yeah, he's a good dude. Does a lot dice for Shanked and I personally.
Yeah.
We do pay for them. No hookup at all. Thanks, bud. I just can't.
I think I've got 2 or 3 at this point.
Leave things nice. I have to fuck with him at some point. So
okay. He knows we love him. Official die guy of the Hang and Loose podcast. Go back to episode 12 and check that out.
He sure is.
So it's probably not right, but if it is, it's crazy.
It's a hell of a guess. Tell us about your disc golf week.
Yeah, I went out on Saturday, first time since I want to say November that I actually got out and played.
That's wild.
I think the last time I played was a tournament in November, and then haven't played since then. But I got out and I had some interesting thoughts while I was out there. I went out and played like just a strict round. It was really hard not to throw like multiples off the tee, just because I hadn't been out in a long time. But I went out there and I shot my personal best after not playing since November. And it felt, I thought I'd have a lot more rust. I'm wondering, I haven't taken that much of a break off ever, I think. And I'm not sure if you guys experience this as well, but do you feel like you play better after an extended break?
So, pardon me. I think that this principle applies to everything in life. I think if you take a break from anything, not necessarily a long enough break to miss it, but a long enough break for it to be like, oh, I just didn't play for 4 days or whatever. You really want to separate yourself from it for a period of time. I very much do that with disc golf. I'm actually in the middle of a break right now. I did play last week a couple times, but I have been having such a bad time playing that I'm like,
Damn.
I'm not throwing well. I'm mad at myself. I'm acting like a complete bag of shit on the course, and my friends pay for that, and that's not fair to them. So I this weekend had some pretty personal crisis that I went through, had a very difficult time, and I am like hopelessly addicted to socials. So I'm trying to force myself to take a break from those. Actually, I'm on break from golf. I'm taking a break from socials. I'm just kind of letting my life kind of reset because this weekend was very scary for me, without going into too much detail. And I don't really want to do it again forever, but there were several people who listened to this show that reached out, and I'm not trying to make this about myself. I'm very sorry, but there were several people from the show who listened to the show or involved with the show that reached out when I posted what I posted. And I do want to say thank you to those people because it really does mean a lot to me. I deal with things just like everybody else does. And knowing that I have people who I've never even met reach out and show support, like, really is awesome for me. So I agree with you taking a break. I do think that you always come back better. I used to do that a lot with Portal, my favorite video game.
Ooh.
If I could not figure out a level, like like Portal 2, more so. Portal 1, I can speed run in 30 minutes. I've done it so many times. But Portal 2, when I was playing through it the first few times, there would just be levels I could not figure out how to beat. I would take like 3 days off and I'd come back and solve it in 10 minutes. So I think that's a very underutilized principle, so to speak.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go back and touch on something you said about our community listeners, whatever you want to call it. It's very strange with this show because it's like
You should call them digits.
digits.
You have hanging loose. You got the digits.
That's good. We call them Lucy's, like single cigarettes.
I know what a Lucy is.
But I'm talking to the audience, not you yet.
They should know too. They also play disc golf or have seen the Chappelle Show.
That's fair. I forget we're all degenerates.
Yeah, sorry.
But I wanted to touch on that, what you said. It's weird with our listener base because it's like we know everybody, right? We don't have a huge swath of listeners. Occasionally an episode will pop off and we'll get like, a few hundred or whatever. But we're talking to people that we quote unquote know through social media. And it's weird because I have, people that reach out to me too that are just like, hey, you haven't posted or you seemed off on the last episode. And it's like, what the who? Like, It's so strange, but we do appreciate it. It's cool.
It's the best. I have people in Europe that I've never even left this country, and I talk to people in Europe who reach out when I post something like that, and they're like, hey man, I love what you do, I appreciate it, always love watching the show, whatever. And it's like, dude, we have 4 listeners. It's not that bad anymore, but like it's cool that the ones who do listen care enough to reach out. And there were a couple pros even who responded. They're like, "What's up, bud? Love what you do. Always excited excited to see you when I'm in whatever." And it's really nice.
That's cool. But yeah, I think taking the break, like you want to do with socials and disking and stuff like disking. I've never said that in my life.
Yeah, RV3, kick him immediately.
Disking, dude, bro, you want to go disking? Oh,
I've had people say that to me before, and it always hits my ears weird.
No,
hits my ears weird, like it's Travis Scott. I think RV3 is probably the only person who's gonna get that joke.
I hate that the more he says it, the more I want to say it.
Disking?
Yeah.
I will trim your mustache like I'm George Steinbrenner if you do it again. That's what
you want to go disking?
Go disking, bro.
That reminds me of that clip of Jim Rome where he's talking to Jim Everett and he keeps calling him Chris and he fucking throws the table at him. Sorry.
I feel like to call it disking, like in a real sense, you have to constantly be carrying a tall boy.
You know what's funny is the first thought I had when you said, do you want to go disking, was the shoulder bag.
Yep, the little lunchbox.
Yeah.
A twisted tea.
Yep.
Yep. 100%.
And clear frame sunglasses, you piece of shit. I'm just kidding.
Probably like those nicotine pouches too.
Yeah, like the ons or whatever.
They got Zen. They got a Zen.
They got a Zen in.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Yeah, terrible.
Wearing a
Shane
hat
goes,
that like you don't wear when you play disc golf because that doesn't really do anything. It's just like a weird hat, you know.
A Tim McGraw leather cowboy hat. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here.
I would kill to see a dude in a cowboy hat on the course.
Disc like you were dying, huh? I got Tim McGraw jokes for days.
There was a guy back in my home course that would show up on his lunch break because I would also go disking on my lunch break. And he worked for, doesn't matter. It was like a pest removal place. And he would go with like 3 discs in his hand and walk around in those in like a jumpsuit and go throw on his lunch break. It was just like I admired the
the effort.
Yes,
the
thank you. The me being huge on the
my bell wouldn't
threw
be
me off
anymore. The very first month or so I played disc golf, there were these couple guys who were plumbers in the Phoenix area. Shout out Rooter Ranger is the name of their company. They drive this big ass blue van with yellow writing on the side. Rooter Ranger.
Ranger.
I think one of them's name was Mike, if memory serves. I haven't seen them or talked to them in ages, but they would come out on our lunch break to Lowe's when I would throw, and they were just like the nicest dudes. And we would throw together all the time. And I played with them for like 4 or 5 months, and then I haven't seen them since. And I've been playing 5 years now, so it's been quite a long time. But
well, shout out Mike and his buddy from Rooter or whatever he called it.
Rooter Ranger.
We have a Rooter is our local one here.
My buddy
local.
Timbo is a driver for UPS, and he plays on his lunch breaks as well.
Heck yeah.
And he does listen to the show sometimes. Timbo, if you listen to this episode, you still owe me a UPS trucker hat.
He never forgets.
I'm not. Who doesn't want a UPS fucking trucker hat, dude? Like,
it's very fair.
It's way better than like a fucking Cosmic Crisp one. Get fucked. Just kidding. Love you guys. If I know you, like I think I know you, you'll love that segment. Anyway,
yeah. So I kind of wanted to. Oh, hold on.
Who the fuck is this guy?
We got a new guy.
Hats. Here. Look at this.
Look at that snazzy thing.
Yeah.
Is that our boys South? from Project Reactor Project?
Yes, it is. I met them down.
Wysocki, Richard Wysocki. That's what I'm called.
I met up with them down at Disc South, along with our friend at Declipped. Declip the Declipped. Declip the Clipped. I found out that it's interchangeable. So
I feel like
every time we yelled at Shanked, it's worth nothing. Yeah, that's what I found out.
Redemption.
Okay. Hans?
Unfortunately, I don't think anybody snapped a picture of me for their free disc.
They did,
even though we tried to give away free plastic. So
yeah,
I know I saw a couple people that interact with the show account that were posting pictures at Disc South, but not apparently seeing the post that if you wanted a free disc. But anyway, I hope that if you made it out that you had a good time. I want to shout out two very special other people I met there. Of course, I was catching up with the guys at DFX, as I do. I was catching up with Max Distance, who make the sticky ball for the disc retriever. They have a new carbon fiber extending pole, different from their current one because it's like woven diagonally instead of linearly, so it's less easy to break. I bought one, and then TSA said, no, you can't take that on the plane, sir, and took it from me. So that was fun.
What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah, straight up took it out of my bag, and we're like, yeah, no, this is a club. You can't have it. I was like,
I'm going to beat someone with a sticky ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense,
here's the best part. I could keep my tripod for my GoPro, but I could not keep the sticky ball retriever. and they're nearly identical to me. Like they both are same kind of
That's
thing.
insane.
So I feel like I could beat the shit out of somebody with a fucking tripod. But
when I traveled with Terry, I had 2 monopods in my bag. Like they look like fucking Deadpool swords.
Right.
And they didn't say shit to me.
yeah. So apparently it looked too much like a club. So they took it from me, $100. But here's the best part: redemption. And this is why they got the not the only reason, but the biggest reason.
Quid pro quo with Rudy
no.
or RV3 here.
No, it's not. I just want to shout out a good company that did a good thing. And don't be an asshole and do this and then try and get free stuff from them, because that would be a really dick thing to do.
That's our
But
disclaimer.
I just reached out to him and I was like, hey guys, TSA took mine. Just letting you know, like, if people are flying with these, they might have an issue with TSA. I was like, I didn't think of it. It's totally my fault. I could see how TSA might have a problem with it. It does look like
a collapsible billy club.
Or a mace, a flail. On the end of the chain.
I get what you mean. Like
I know what a mace is,
medieval
but
one.
mace has a chain.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So maybe like it had the chain on the inside, they were thinking, because it kind of looks like one. Anyway.
Dude, I'm a suction cup so many people.
They're sending me one. Which is sick.
They're sending you another one?
They're going to send me one.
Dude.
That's super sick of them. Thank you guys
Shouts
so
out
much
Sticky
if
Ball
you see
guy.
this.
On
You
a
guys are incredible.
totally unrelated note, the nude photos that Jennifer Aniston sent me were confiscated by TSA.
Oh,
so
damn.
Oh,
if you could send me
Tough
some
luck.
more, that
Yeah.
would be huge.
yeah.
I would really appreciate it.
I'll get on that.
Not you, bitch. I don't want your nude photos.
Oh, sorry.
Jen Aniston, if you're listening,
I was
love
excited. Somebody asked me. I was like, "Oh, me? Ah.
No, I've seen a naked bear. Tell us more about Disc South, though. Did you run any big time names that you ran into there that aren't directly related to the show?
Yeah. Chandler Kramer came by the booth for a while. That was really cool. Watching him do forehand in slow mo. It's interesting how he doesn't really reach back at all. It's all very much like around the disc movement for him, which I never really noticed before. He talked a little bit about the preference and talked a little bit about how much arm length plays into effect at the pro level, not necessarily at the amateur level, but the length of your arms are huge.
What does Stokely call it? The monkey factor or something like that? Ape factor?
Ape index, very close. Very close. Yeah.
See, Spicy's looking like I'm insane.
I don't have the right haircut for us to be talking about this kind of stuff.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah. I like
So,
ivermectin.
of course, Brody was there on Saturday morning and did a whole signing, and then Foundation was there for both days. Didn't really get to interact with them too much. I was working at the Disc AI booth, the form analysis app. Check out Disc AI, disc.ai on the App Store. It's a pretty cool piece of kit.
I used it like about a year ago, and it was really neat with what it was. But
you should try it now.
I should. I still have not dev access, but like he gave me some sort of access.
Test flight, probably.
Yeah, test flight. That's what it is.
It's
I
incredible.
should go back
now.
and look at it because it was cool when it was, but I didn't feel right showing it off a whole lot because it didn't feel polished. And I didn't want people to get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
But if it's, I mean, I should go back and look because it was really cool for what it was a year ago.
Try it again. You can download it and upload a slow-mo video for free, I think, if you download the app. It just doesn't like give you all the feedback that it does when you pay for the subscription model. So yeah, it's really cool. So anyway, back to the cool people that were there. Obviously, Robbie C was in town. There was a guy who misspelled his name on his business card.
Mike.
So
I've been thinking about him all weekend.
He made a self-driving cart that follows around a little remote control. It's Bluetooth, has a little radar sensor
follow
in
you?
it. It follows you. You don't even have
Oh,
to touch
that's
it.
sick.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
I take
follows
it
you.
back. That's
It's like
one of
He
the
those
claims-
things Lawns ever made.
He claims it's never fallen over, and it can go anywhere a regular Zuka cart could go.
Let's get you out to Buffalo Ridge
Well-
and test that theory.
I believe
Well,
it.
I mean, I can drag a Zuka cart up a straight up hill, but will it go there willingly?
I don't know. I wasn't gonna, but he also made several other cool devices. I'll try and see if I can get him on the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, I'll talk about my stuff," but I don't.
Dude, someone should make. Okay,
See.
so I got an idea for our sticky ball man.
Yeah.
What's the name of the company?
Max distance.
Max Distance. Thank you. He should make a prototype that's like a grapple gun, but with the sticky ball on the end. That way you go, and then it's got a little string on it, and you snag your disc out of a tree. That'd be sick.
I can't imagine that hitting anything but only the disc every time. And
Oh, yeah,
not being
perfect.
a very
Perfect.
frustrating experience.
Also, you could just go to Walmart and buy one of those. They have like a toy gun that shoots a suction cup. They have those all over the place. That's very easy to find one of those.
I'm just gonna buy
I'll
him
have to go get one.
Yeah.
This is goofy
Um,
story. I was just talking about how I was gonna buy him a really expensive one on Amazon because I got on my sister's wish list to buy her a birthday present today or Christmas present. Way late. Don't worry about it. Stop asking. And
For next year or this year.
one of the things on her wish list was a $4,500 dress.
wow.
I was like,
I mean, that's up to the
What?
name of that's up to the name of wish list,
So,
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
star shot list.
I hung out with Hans from Declipped. We talked about some great stuff about Declipped, and then
That's very descriptive.
yeah, he was kind of like just demonstrated how it worked and his development process and the thing. I don't want to get a whole bunch into that because he had a little bit of struggle with it. So I don't want to give away any trade secrets on him. But it's a really cool. I hadn't used one. I don't have one because Shank doesn't like to give me anything.
It looks like a club got taken.
Yeah, got taken by TSA actually. Yes.
So like, sir, this is an
there-
industrial size
it's-
nipple clamp. You can't have it on the plane.
I'll say this after using it, what he says about the rim awareness, 100% true. Never
was the
thought about
biggest-
it but once you feel that, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I kind of get this a little bit. Didn't try it with a putter just because I didn't have one with me.
It's
that-
I don't
sorry.
want to get into too much shill category for my boy from Declip.
It's
but,
okay. It's been all ads so far, according to the audience. But go ahead.
Right. The rim awareness was one of the things I was talking to him about. He needs to like hammer more because you can really feel like the angle of the disc with the follow through with it on there.
Sure.
And it's really easy to advertise it as a where's your bell? I need your bell.
It's been advertised as a training tool, a warm-up
Training
tool.
weight, thank you. Like a baseball bat with donut. All right. See you guys.
That's terrible timing because I need to shit. So if
Oh,
it's just
boy.
gonna be you down there by yourself there.
Oh
perfect.
boy. So also got a chance to talk with CNC Discs, which is the company that is taking the solid piece of plastic and then cutting it. It's got a real interesting, really smooth feel to it. I don't know. I'll find out in a couple days actually, because one of my buddies bought one. It was $40, and they claim it goes a couple of feet further, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And we'll figure that out.
Sounds
in
like
a couple days.
That lift or loft discs
Mhm.
one that they did.
Yeah.
With like the rounded rim.
The Boreum.
Right.
Orium, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Meridian Discs. They were there. It was cool
You see Hofstra?
I guess so. I saw the gentleman from Mojo Riser, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me, and I'm very sorry, sir.
His name is Mr. Mojo in my phone.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a male prostitute at all.
Okay, great. Okay,
I can just see
terrific.
Ashley looking at your phone. Who's
It was
Mr.
Mr.
Mojo?
He charges $20 an hour.
Ew. The fuck out of here. Like, I called him Rick.
French tickler.
So, yeah, that was great. Bodanza was cool. Jay Millie.
Did you ask him why he's dodging our show?
No,
Because he's MPO.
they did. There was several people who pointed, like, definitely looked at the shirt because I had the Reactor Project polo on that first day with the logo on it, just in case.
Sick.
Make myself a little bit easier for the contest, right? I feel like it definitely, there was some people specifically that looked at my shirt and then like kind of like did one of those numbers like, oh, I see you, but I don't see you.
Right. Not sure
I
what they
wouldn't
saw.
want to talk to you either.
Yeah. So that's okay.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, even
if you have any
slight
other questions,
recognition is cool.
I'm happy to answer them. But that was really the standouts. I had a 45 minutes conversation with Dave McCormick, who, if Spicy knows, is the...
Hey everybody, this is Randy from RandDiscGolf.com. The other day I was out on the disc golf course, bombing my drivers 300 feet, feeling good about myself. And I decided that since I had a long ride home, I needed to find a podcast that was smart, funny, and entertaining. Everything a good podcast should be. So I picked Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and it was wonderful. But after that, my podcast app, the algorithm, sent me to Hangin' Loose podcast, hosted by Shanked, and Spiiciiboii. And it was okay. But after 30 seconds, I figured that my time would be better spent listening to the new Chapel Roan album. So that's what I did. So if you need any discs, RandDiscGolf.com. And if your podcast app happens to go to the Hangin' Loose podcast, there's always Chapel Roan.
The Dave McCormick.
designer of the Gateway discs.
Yeah.
He works at Gateway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, you
guy.
said Chandler Kramer was there. I figured you were probably talking to Gateway a little bit.
Yes. Hung out with the Gateway folks for a while, and they're great. I always love the Gateway folks. But just talking about like disc design with him, talking about different stuff that the Pro Tour could do differently for the pros, for the people who watch the Pro Tour. Like, dude is insanely smart. And I just, if you ever see this, Dave, thank you so much for sitting and talking with us for like 45 minutes to an hour, because it was the most, the coolest content, live conversation, just like absorbing so much info session I've ever had about disc golf, and it was so cool. So thank you.
I picked his brain.
Yeah, I did pick his brain for a while, and it was great.
How can I make women like me?
Well, yeah.
He's like, sit down. It's going to take 45 minutes.
Not one of the questions I asked.
I did have a question. I'm sad I missed it, but
Me too.
It was the first year of Disc South, right?
It was.
How was attendance?
Attendance was great on Saturday.
Okay,
Attendance on Sunday in Dallas was interesting. I don't know if people were just like, okay, I'm going to go on Saturday and then that's it. I don't know if it was too far for a lot of other people to show up. I don't know if the stereotype about the huge churches down in Dallas is not really a stereotype, and all the people that could have come just went to church instead. But after about 3 hours on Sunday, it was maybe 10 other people that were there, and then everybody else that was in the building were vendors.
Oof. See, that was my fear, is like, how would you compare it to like disc what is it? East.
East.
The
I
the
only
Expo?
went to the first year.
Oh, okay.
And
You also went to the first year of Expo.
yes. Well, I'm sorry. It was actually the second year that they had it, because the first year it was just a very small ballroom, very small crowd. It was, and then the second year they did it in the same location with the both rooms. That was the first year I was there. I missed the most recent one because I did not go.
Well, it's quite
That
some
would explain
reasoning
it.
you've managed to figure out there.
But comparison wise, attendance, how would you
Yes,
compare
I'm
them?
sorry. So it's hard because if you can hear that siren, I'm sorry.
They're
The
coming.
first one had a
You
lot
breathing in
of
through your
big
nose?
big guests in it.
The first one,
Simon
gotcha.
was at Disc Golf Expo, Northeast Disc Golf
Gotcha.
Expo, as it was called at the time. So that was huge.
That was right after his MVP signing, right? So
Right. So that
he's
was
got a
when
bigger
they
draw.
dropped the pixels.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So that was a pretty big draw. It wasn't during the tour season, so you had a few more pros there as well. Jeremy Colling was there for a while. Trying to remember.
Yeah, tons of pros.
Yeah,
I wish I had a bell for you.
Pretty
I'm sorry.
sure
It was 2 years ago. Fuck off. Anyway, it was
Me and my
definitely
co-host
better.
here.
It was definitely better attended at the Northeast Disc
At the
Golf
Northeast
Expo.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they do it again.
they will.
I feel like
They're doing it for at least 2 more years, as I understand.
Oh, good.
Need a Disc West.
I was gonna say I'm curious how
That's-
much they're gonna expand it, because at some point you get to a market saturation, because generally disc golfers aren't
But it was
You know,
only 3 hours from you, and you didn't travel for it. So,
exactly.
how is that market saturation?
No, I'd say they're oversaturating the convention versus how many people are interested.
I was actually just having a similar thought, is like comic book conventions, which is what all conventions are based off model wise.
Correct.
I can't just go to a comic book store. I mean, I could, but the chances of it are minuscule. But I can't just go to a comic book store and run into Todd McFarlane or Michael Rooker or those types of people. You know what I mean? But with disc golf, you can go to any event that's even remotely close to your area that's a tour stop, and you can meet all of probably more big names for free, get a picture, get an autograph for free, than having to buy a ticket.
I agree
and
with
go to
you,
an event.
but I don't think that's what the Disc Golf Expo's for. I think of the Disc Golf Expo more like I think of
E3?
like E3, where it's yes, exactly. Where it's like manufacturers send a couple of people and have a setup, because Discraft had their own setup, MVP had their own setup. House of Discs had a very cool, very high quality like glass panel wall with Kristen and Isaac, and it was beautiful. I should have taken a picture of it, and I slipped my mind. But they and then it's innovative products, right? One of the teams that was there, one of the companies that was there rather, was a Disc Track, which is a QR code sticker that you put on the bottom of your disc. You scan that sticker and it sends you a text, or pops up with your phone number and your name, and you can have it automatically send a text. It's an app as well, so you can scan it
as a stamp rather than a sticker, because you can't add a sticker to a competition disc.
Yeah. I guess they just are banking on the fact that there's more
Enough
people
casuals.
playing. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I think it also allows you to track some stats, I think, is another thing that is in there, because it's individual QR codes. So ideally you could scan it whenever you want and it would track different things. Like if you were playing around and scanned it, maybe it would work that way as well. I haven't taken the dive in their app yet, but it seemed interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think of it more in that sense, and I think with the way technology is moving through disc golf, um, I don't think there's a short on the amount of the amount of content you can kind of stuff in that room.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah, I guess if it's being functional as like an intermingling event with vendors and people like that, rather than like a convention. I mean, it still doubles as a convention, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at like I forget the name of it, but there's an automotive expo like that. But they have it in one place once a year. You know, it usually flip flops
SEMA.
between New Orleans, SEMA, thank you, between New Orleans and LA or Las Vegas. And but they do it once for everybody,
Right.
you know, and then we're looking at disc golf's market being significantly smaller than the automotive industry.
Yeah, but they're not
And
going
we're
to
running
travel either,
two.
right? So would you
Well, you
rather
did.
would you rather not have the opportunity like to have it closer to you, or have multiple opportunities a year? And especially if you can fill it with the local, because there was a lot of local shops and a lot of local like businesses and stuff that were set up there, local enough to Dallas to drive in or whatever.
Yeah. I'm not
To
saying I don't
support
want it. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't want it to exist. I'm just hoping that they have a good plan to keep it running.
Yeah,
You know,
I hear you.
it's
so
and I think my main contention with, like, I get what you're saying is it's more of an E3, it's for like, look at these cool new products, things that we're trying to drive the sport forward. But the way that it's marketed is not that.
No.
E3 has always been only for press, only for journalists.
Yeah.
It's never E3's never been open to the public.
I
And
think. Go ahead.
with disc golf, they're like, public, please come, please enjoy,
Yeah.
meet all these
I-
people.
I
They
think
market
this
it as more of a convention than like a press event.
Yeah, I think the SEMA comparison is actually very apt to what it is, albeit at a 100 times scale. But SEMA attracts like enthusiasts to go see the newest, coolest stuff.
Yeah,
But also, I get invited every freaking year to go talk to different vendors and have them try to sell me stuff. So it's kind of in that same vein where it's a hybrid of both.
I think you also have to remember that this is like the first thing of its kind. Like there's no other disc golf kind of conventions that I've seen that are out there, and I think if it's filling its role as both sides of that coin, I don't really have a problem. Like I kind of like that it's. I kind of like that it's that, and I hope that it's bigger that. Like I would love to be able to fill like a smaller arena, kind of like a smaller
like a Denny's
convention center or something.
I want it to be big enough where we can walk into an arena or a stadium and have one booth that has a full power drive like exhibition.
That'd be cool.
Like up on the third floor, and they have like a basket in the middle of the field, and they're like, "You want to try out our driver? I think that would be the coolest fucking thing. That would be my immediate.
They had space to do it at this one because there was a huge courtyard like right outside the convention hall, and actually, I may or may not have been have played some night golf in Dallas in between a hotel and an office building in a huge courtyard next to a convention center over the weekend until like 2 a.m. It was awesome. We had a great time.
I love night golf.
But also, they had this huge lawn next to this convention center that they could have definitely just put a basket in and been throwing in the whole weekend. Even doing up to like the extent of doing demonstrations and things. Not even just like, here, try these new discs out, but like,
should have had an ace bounty set up. Now next year if you go,
that too.
Ask about it, and if
that
nobody else has it, you set it up.
I think that was the biggest thing that people were recommending was you have like all this cool stuff that's like, okay, shopping, right? And then there's like some new tech stuff, and then it's like, okay, cool, tech stuff. And then there's the mini course, which was good, Not as good as the one they do in Massachusetts, but it was a concrete building with a steel roof. Because everything in that is that in Texas, which weirded me out. We can get into that if you want.
Tornadoes.
Stuff to talk about SFO.
We'll get back to it because there's a couple things I noticed about Texas, and I'm sorry if you're from there. Kind of lame. We'll get to it.
He's been to one city in Texas.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you're from Dallas, or not from Dallas, but I think the city of Dallas and some of the rules in the state of Texas.
Did you go to
dumb.
Dealey Plaza? Because that would have been the first place I went to see.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay. All over my face.
I think that was the number one kind of suggestion to Ben was, let's try and do more active, have more space for more active things. So I think that's something we might see in the future, especially also on top of like a flex, like series competition, singles on Saturday, doubles on Sunday could potentially be in the mix there.
Interesting.
That would be a cool idea for like a C tier, like an Expo C tier.
Yes.
Or XD tier.
Something like that. Yeah. Because then you bring in the people who want to play in the tournament as well, and there's an expo there, and it kind of like stacks on itself in a really nice way.
Yeah. They should line it up closer. I guess I know why they don't, but they should line it up closer to the NADGT finale championship.
Yeah, I think
that's in Austin.
But I also think this kind of thing is better attended in the off season because you can get a lot more pros there in theory. And you get a little bit more people willing to travel, especially because it's on a weekend. And with the Go Throw Tour trying to fill every other weekend that the Pro Tour is not on, you're out of weekends during the season to get any pro people to show up. We had a few that were there that weren't playing in Florida, but you can't like start cutting into your audience that way.
I think.
Do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think either Go Throw or DGPT should invest heavily in these and make them a whole weekend.
Make it
There's no reason that a pro can't go hang out at a booth for 3 hours before their 3 p.m. tee time, or come hang out a few hours after they finish a round. Like they already do that anyway. They stay at the fly marts. They do that kind of stuff. Like find a weekend where we can have an event in Dallas, and then you can host discs. The DGPT presents Disc South, and then I think just that alone, based off of the difference in attendance for the Memorial when it was a Pro Tour stop and when it's not now, it would be night and day.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I would agree with that. I think, but do you think the pros brought in enough presence to like say that if they weren't there, it would be worse?
I think the combination of the pros and the social media people, the combination of the two was probably a definite draw. Where Brody was doing he was doing a disc signing. I'm sure you saw a bunch of people taking pictures with Brody over the weekend, and that's great. He came out and was very nice. Came over to the booth and said hi to us.
Did he ask you for a free water?
No, we didn't have any. We didn't have any free water. Actually, we had to keep going back up to our hotel room in the same building to refill our water bottles. Not that that's where we had to go, but that's the closest place we found.
I almost missed that reference, Spicy. Just barely caught it.
So, yeah, he had there was a huge line because of the confetti buzz and the confetti comet that came out. A comet or meteor? Might have been meteor. Either way. He had a huge line, and Discraft was really packed on like those whole 3 or 4 hours he did a signing there. They were packed the whole time. So
did you just keep talking about Dude Perfect?
I didn't overhear what he was talking about, so I'm not sure. I can't answer that question.
No, I was asking because personally, I'm not sentimental like that about disc golf. Like people collect discs or they'll like retire ace discs and stuff like that. And I just don't feel that way. And I don't feel like I'd be all that attracted by a pro's presence, you know? Maybe like a Macbeth, like, or someone with like
Go
weight
status.
to them. But, if, no disrespect, but like, Brody, I probably wouldn't, or like Hammers, like
Okay, so let me ask you this: who's like the lowest person you would drive that long for?
like
Because like, what? Like, do you want it in your backyard? Like, how close do you
no,
want?
no. I'm just saying personally, I don't
I don't
have
think
a
if it was in his
sentimental
backyard,
value.
it would make a difference. He just
No.
doesn't feel that way about. He's not.
Yeah,
a
I'm not
starstruck type
starstruck.
of person.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, lowest on the to me, it's more about influence rather than skill,
Right.
because I think if you had like
No,
Scott
that's what I'm
Stokely,
asking.
for instance,
For you,
would be
who's like the biggest disc golf star that you would go see? Drive 3 hours to go see.
the biggest. I mean, probably Macbeth.
No. Like the smallest. Who's the
Oh,
one that
like
would
the
make the list?
very bottom.
The last one on the cut. Come on.
Drew
Spiiciiboii.
Gibson, just to go harass him.
No way.
No,
Would ask you too, Spicy.
Ulibarri.
Okay,
That's
Spicy.
that's my answer.
I am very much a starstruck person, so it could be like that. I would actually drive for would be, to be honest, I would drive to meet someone from Twitter. Like I don't.
I mean, I'm in Connecticut. Start driving, kid. Come on.
I would drive
Right, in
further
my
to play
23
with a Twitter
So-
friend than to see a pro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I'm the same way. If I knew that like a bunch of my friends were gonna go and I could afford it, which is the only reason that I couldn't come meet you for Disc South, it was money and I couldn't get time off work.
Well, yeah, that was the part that we could not fix was the part that you limited by.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
sucked.
I was bummed. I really would have liked to have been there. It would have been cool to be the biggest celebrity in the room on Sunday.
That foundation was still there, so
Like I said,
Point
biggest
stands.
I'd be like, hey, you guys remember when I verbally harassed you during your Bogey Bros round in Arizona? My bright pink shirt.
Who's done more for the sport, Foundation or Spicy behind the camera?
Definitely Foundation, and it's not close.
I don't know. You got some pretty good shots under your belt there.
Yeah, but that doesn't. If we took collectively every round I've ever filmed with
Well,
Terry, it wouldn't meet one of their videos as far as views goes.
Yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to talk Disc South while I'm still here? I mean, not that I'm leaving, but
I was like, where the fuck are you going?
I said,
Yeah.
I just don't want to hog your podcast.
it's been compelling.
What was your favorite convention center snack that you had while you were there? I know your ass went to the snack bar at least once.
At least once, yeah.
Do they
Saturday? Go ahead.
do they do like food catering and stuff?
Not catering
Not
for like
catering,
the
yeah.
vendors. You have to go to the snack bar and buy stuff.
Probably like an $8.50
I
hot
had
dog and like a
the
$12
soggiest
nachos.
croissant in the world on Saturday
Ooh.
morning. It wasn't
Soggy
good.
croissant.
It was just a soggy croissant.
He said it got me through the day.
I had some chips and queso.
Queso or like nacho cheese sauce?
I'm in fucking Texas, guy. It was queso. Okay.
It's also a snack bar.
No, it was queso.
That's fair.
Okay.
'Cause I already said $12 nachos.
Because you could technically call that slimy cheese sauce queso.
No, that's nacho cheese.
Queso has like peppers and shit in it.
Yeah, it was like
Isn't queso just mean cheese?
yes,
It does,
but this
but
is the
The
dish.
traditional preparation of the dish queso has things in the cheese. It's not just cheese.
Sorry, I'm artistic.
Okay.
You're every crayon in the box, babe.
So yeah,
Let's
that
talk
was
about
probably- it was
SFO
probably that.
too, because Ezra got his first win with Discraft and his first win, period, on an Elite Series.
Yep.
I have never really noticed until I watched this this particular event, but I think Ezra does a great job. If Rudy will know who I'm talking, sorry, RV3 will know who I'm talking about. Now you got me doing it, Shanked, you asshole. He'll know who I'm talking about when I say Eric Burns. Eric Burns plays his ass off, and that was like the most notable thing about his time in Major League Baseball was it didn't matter if it was game 162 and you were 50 games out of first. Eric Burns is going to put 150% in every time, and that's very much the vibe I get from Ezra. Even though when he wasn't, if he had a bad hole or whatever, the next hole he came out firing. Like
he's quickly becoming one of my favorites on tour. I mean, I picked him in our little favorites for the season. Not a draft, but whatever that episode was. I don't remember what I picked him for. But I know I picked him to do well for something. And I'm not regretting it at this point. But yeah,
you're huge, 1 for 1.
Huge props to him. I've been able to watch the first round so far. Obviously I know who won, due to no spoilers in live sports, but I still prefer Jomez coverage, and even if I know who wins, I still enjoy watching it. So
really,
it's, I don't know, it's a comfort thing, I guess. It's a nice something to put on, Saturday mornings with my kid and just watch some disking.
It's a little more, and I think this is just due to it being post-produced versus live. It's a little more polished. So there aren't those awkward moments where like the network cuts away half a second too late and you see the cameraman pick his shit up. and turn to leave. That happens on the Pro Tour all the time. That was so funny. There we go.
Just
you're
real quick.
100% a holding the mic guy, by the way. You looked so natural.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see, even when it's sitting here, I have my hand on it. It's just what I'm used to because I host with one, so I'm used to like holding it.
Shanked, you picked Ezra Robinson for most wins this year. So far.
Wow.
Ooh.
So far, you're like number 1.
For one.
Yep. As long as Gannon Burr doesn't win at all, then you're good.
He did not play well this event.
I was gonna say, who didn't Macbeth end up getting third? That's pretty a whole Discraft podium. That's dope.
And Ricky was 4th. And I'll say that
picture was so funny.
What me?
People were clowning. No, with all the Discraft boys celebrating Ezra, side, and AB just mean mugging.
Which is funny because, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this because obviously he and I have become acquaintances. I'm not going to say friends, but we greet each other when we see each other. And that's just kind of his demeanor all the time. And I think you guys remember initially when we started the show, I was like, AB fucking hates me. He really hasn't changed, but I've gotten to know him a little bit better of like, he just has this kind of, I can't tell if you want to kill everyone or fist bump everyone.
He looks smug 24/7.
That's just being in a fraternity at ASU.
He's just got like that little grin off the side of his mouth, and he's always side glances, and it's just his constant like existence. He's
as far as I'm aware, he's in a fraternity at Arizona State. And that's kind of one of the requirements to getting into a fraternity at Arizona State is you have to kind of have that kind of frat bro-y.
Yes.
Like if I walked up, I was like, hey guys, I'd like to join your fraternity, please. They'd be like,
get your ass whooped.
Yeah, exactly. And then still wouldn't get in, even though that's what it takes to get in. But it's just his personality. It's funny to me because I film him so regularly and I see him around town sometimes that there's no cameras on him and he looks exactly the same. So people are like, he looks so mad. It's like, that's just him. Like when I told him last season about creating the Target shirt and say, throw it here, AB as a cameraman.
Mm.
I then was like, he wants to fucking kill me. But like now I know, since we have a bit of a working relationship, very minimal, like I could say the same thing to him now and he would react exactly the same way. And I'd be like, oh, he thought that was funny. He's just not, unless he's mad, he's not a very expressive person.
I don't know if I've ever seen him mad on coverage.
Oh, you have. So maybe he's not as expressive. I notice it a lot because he's,
Nothing.
He does the like throw the putter in the bag very angrily if he misses a putt, or
I guess, yeah.
Or like he'll throw and be like, "What the fuck was that, dude?" Or "Come on, bro." That's a big one. He says to himself a lot.
That's interesting. Being a cameraman, how much do the players swear? Because to me, they come off very like controlled and like they don't, and
some
locally
of them
in leagues and stuff, especially C tiers. I mean, it's flying left and right. But I given what disc golf is, you'd think that even the pros would have a little bit of a mouth on them.
Yeah, well, his name's Nicola Castro.
Fair point.
But and there's a couple, even just this last tournament that I filmed with Drew, like there's a couple times where you can hear him miss a putt and he'd be like, "What the fuck was that?" And it's not, I don't think it's unprofessional. No, I think it's
emotions.
I think it's more professional because you're playing at such a high level that like when you mess up, you're going to feel it times a million. Mm-hmm. Whereas like I'm Johnny on the spot. I don't give a shit. I'll get mad if I miss a putt, but it doesn't really, it's whatever.
Yeah.
There was a shot during the Spring Flight Open that Paul Macbeth threw. It was a forehand. I want to say I'm like 16. I really can't remember the hole, but he throws it. It's way high. It's way inside. And immediately he turns around and you could just hear him go, "Shit." And I'm just like, I tweeted about it. I was like, that's the Paul Macbeth I want to see as a fan.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see you get frustrated. I want to see you really put an effort in. And I think him beating Ricky at the first event of the year is huge for him because you know that Ricky coming onto your team, that's Paul Macbeth's team. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you talk to. That's Paul Macbeth's team. And for Ricky to join that is like very iffy. And I think Paul coming out and beating him in the first event is probably like, fuck yeah, that feels good. And I think that's going to kind of ignite that fire a little bit. Yeah.
Confidence boost for him too.
For sure.
Honestly, watching him play, and even over the last couple of years when he's been washed, it's all still there. It just seems like he's in his head. I don't really know how to explain it, but
he's too worried about his motion.
Yeah.
I think I was watching highlights of like 2019 Paul and 2020 Paul, super hyper dominant, and his flow and his motion, his reach back to his pull, everything was smooth, very consistent, very relaxed. And even now when you watch him putt, he's taking a little bit longer. He's thinking about things. His motion looks different. He's way more of a hyzer putter than I ever remember him being. And his throw motion is very herky-jerky. Like instead of a nice smooth thing, he's like, wah, wah. And it's like, dude, that's like, go back to, I think same thing with Tiger Woods. He's too worried about his motion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I thought you were going to keep going.
I thought you were going to start going.
Nope. No, I would have to agree. And I think he has changed his putt over the last couple of years. I know he was talked about tweaking with it. Last year or the year before, when he was dealing with his injury and all that. But no, it's exciting to see him pop out of the top, and like, I don't think we're quite there on like the quote unquote new guard. I mean, I think we're mixed in there now. We're in that interim period where Ricky's still winning, Paul's still up there, but Gannon's dominating. Like, it's not really old guard's washed. We're right in the middle of it, right?
Right. I call it interim awareness.
Oh,
that was a great
brother.
I agree with you though. It's very much a if the old guard was like Climo, Schultz, Feldberg, Stokely, Rudy, shut up.
RB3.
No, when
I'm
he
talking about next year
then-
idea. It's Rudy crossed out RB3.
right. I think that new guard would be Macbeth, Wysocki, in that era.
Yeah.
And I think we're entering the third trimester. No, we're entering the
And Disc Golf 2 will be born.
the third age of disc golf, where it's really like we had the old heads, the leather helmets in football, and Ricky and Paul are like the 90s, where we've got Kurt
CTE.
Warner and we've got Cordell Stewart, and you have all these really top tier, the Brett Favre top tier quarterbacks. And now we're seeing the Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. And I mean, Tom Brady's more 90s as well, I guess, but like we're seeing the Patrick Mahomes and like these young people who've been doing it since they were literally 3 years old.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely able to do things that you would just never even conceive, even in the Paul Macbeth era. So it's interesting. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where disc golf goes in the next 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. But I wanted to interrupt real quick and ask RB3 what he's eating.
Pussy.
Ooh.
I'm not eating anything.
Would you like to be?
Well,
You left to check on your food. What are you not eating?
Oh, it's not
Pussy.
really it.
Fucking.
Oh, it's not here. Fucking got him. It's not here yet. I think we have to stick around until his food gets here.
No, because I'm gonna shit my pants if we hang around any longer. How much time do we have left there, RV3? Oh, we're right on the nose then.
Bye.
Yeah, gonna go poop.
Thanks for watching the
Thanks for
Hanging
listening
Loose
to Hanging
podcast.
Loose.
RandDiscGolf.com.
Disc Golf
Get your shit
Podcast.
there. Thanks, 44 Club.
We'll be back again next week. Until then,